Hello everyone, welcome to Coffeyville, Alabama. This is a Army Corps of Engineer campground, and although this is a beautiful scenic spot to have a campsite, this is not what I have in mind for when we go full time, and that's going to be the topic of today's video. Welcome! Now, a little change of scenery here. So what happens, I got a little long-winded and I kind of got off track and the video's getting too long, so I had a couple of retakes, and unfortunately I couldn't finish before the storm clouds came in and started raining. It pretty much rained through that last day we were there and until the next morning, so I kind of had to spend my time getting ready to pack this up and get out of there. So hey, you know, we're still going to finish the video. It's just inside, but I want to explain how all of a sudden went from this pretty background to in here. Okay, so our plans to travel full-time. It's going to be different than what you're seeing now, because what we're doing now is we're camping. And why are we camping? We're camping for two reasons. One is it's relaxation, it's a little break, it's just getting away from things, you know, it's just trying to enjoy some life. Two, we're breaking in the camper. I've never RV'd before, and with the prospect of pulling out of that driveway one day, closing the gate, and not coming home for possibly a year or two, we want to make sure everything's right. Because once we leave, it's going to be hard to do some of the stuff that I've been doing out on the road. Not impossible, but I don't want to do it on the road. I want to do it here, where if I need something, I can go to Amazon or whatever, order it. It's on its way. It comes here to the house, and I have access to 2 full toolboxes and all kinds of stuff. I have a garage to work in, so I have everything I need here. So I want to make sure the RV's right. So every trip, we pretty much learn something about the RV. We learn what works, what doesn't work, what we need, and always tweaking. Like, I was kind of really hoping that this RV, I would be able to get it in and out of anywhere that I needed to go. And, I mean, it's not that hard to drive. It's 30 feet, so it's not impossible. But I was really hoping it would be a little bit easier to get in and out of stuff. I was looking at a 25-foot version, and we just really didn't like the bed. And then once we saw something like this with the couch, this couch has been great. Because when you're stuck in here in the rain, the couch. So I got something a little bit longer, and I kind of sacrificed some maneuverability. But if we're going to be living in here, that's one of the sacrifices that we decided to make. I mean, I was looking at Class Bs that would be really easy and more maneuverable, but I don't like wet showers. I don't like having to make my bed. I don't like converting my bed to a dinette and stuff like that. So we sacrificed the size, but we've learned that, yeah, it does come at a cost, and it's not always easy to get this thing in and out. So we have the tow set up. We got the Buick set up to flat tow behind here. So now we'll be able to go anywhere we want. We'll be able to leave the RV somewhere and travel. Early on, just looking at stuff, I realized that to save money, can't always spend every night at a campground. That's not what we want to do. We want to explore the country. We want to explore cities and stuff like that. So it might mean spending the night at a Cracker Barrel, at a mall, in front of a Planet Fitness, so I can go get my workout on, wherever it may be. So being able to be off-grid works too. So I have the solar panels on the roof. I have lithium batteries under the couch. I have an inverter, so we can run 110-volt appliances in here without being plugged in. I also have the generator. So everything's set up. I can charge these lithium batteries by either the alternator in the front, the solar panels on the roof, or the generator. We have it set up. I have 3 ways to keep these batteries charged, and the batteries are what power everything in here. So I've actually learned the generator wasn't charging the battery. So that's one thing I learned. I had the generator on, run the AC, and I was like, oh crap, because from the factory they have a charger built in back there, which I had to disconnect because the inverter that runs off the batteries powered it. So it had to be disconnected because you can't use batteries to recharge batteries. So it's been a learning process, and we're getting this thing tweaked to go full time. So like I said, we're getting the RV dialed in, and the camping is just like a bonus. It gives us an outlet right now. So when we go full time, will we be at campgrounds? Yeah, absolutely. you're going to have to stop. I mean, you're going to want to get off the road every now and then. We're going to have to edit videos, or I usually do the edits. I need to just sit down, work on my edit, be plugged in. It'd be nice to run the AC plugged in, empty our tanks. So figure, you know, if it costs me, usually, because I'm a disabled veteran, I get half off at federal parks. So usually, instead of paying like $30, I usually pay $15, or I could pay $15 to a truck stop to empty the tank. So if you're going to pay the same money, I'd rather go to a campground, empty the tanks, be plugged in for a day or two, not drive, because every day we drive, this thing gets like 8 to 9 miles to the gallon. It's not very efficient. It's very expensive to operate this thing on a daily basis. So we will stay at campgrounds. Good possibility we'll spend 3 or 4 days at the campground, get into Buick, head into town, drive around, check out some stuff, come back here, edit the video, and move on to the next location. So there will be campsites, but that's not what we're going for. We're going for it to visit and check out the entirety of the country. You know, like me being a car guy, there's lots of cool car stuff and events around the country. Like, for instance, the Peterson Museum in California. I've never been there. I've seen pictures of it. It looks absolutely amazing. I would love to see that. I'd also love to go see the beauty of the redwood forest in California. You know, I love architecture. You know, I'd love to go up. I've been to the Space Needle in Seattle. My wife hasn't. So I want her to see that. I want her to see the super skyscrapers in New York and Chicago and stuff like that. There's just so much around the country to see. Things like, you know, Niagara Falls. I've been there. She hasn't. I haven't been to Mount Rushmore. Neither of us have. So Mount Rushmore, the Grand Canyon, Yellowstone. You know, we've been to the Keys and stuff like that. So that's kind of what we're going at. If you watch my video on the Keys, you'll get a little taste of how the video should flow. We go to the Keys. Although we were in a camper, we took a car into town. We went and saw Hemingway's house. We went to I forget the name of it, the main town square where all the performers were supposed to act, but due to COVID, a lot of stuff was closed. There wasn't a whole lot of people out there, so it was actually a good time to go. But went to the southernmost point. We went to a place that had butterflies and that. So we had a really good time in the Keys, and we showed you all the, you know, not maybe all of them, but we showed you a lot of the sights, sounds, and that of the Keys. And that's what we want to do. We want to go to cities and stuff and see stuff. I want to go to St. Louis. I want to go to the Arch. I want to travel to the top. Ever since I found out you can actually go inside of that thing, oh, it's amazing. I've been wanting to do that. When I drove over the road getting out of the Army, I drove past that arch several times. And even when I drove over the road with the 18-wheeler, I was all over this country. There's very pretty scenery. Like, I remember going through like Oregon and that, and looking down, seeing a river flowing down there, and just, I couldn't stop it. 80,000 pounds and, you know, 70, 80 feet long. Couldn't just pull off on the shoulder and walk down there, and there was no way to pull off. It was too, you know, just too big and that. And these are the type of things I want to see. My wife's really into like the fall colors. You've seen we've been to upstate New York. We've been to Kentucky. She also loves flowers. She's found some stuff in Texas that have like tulip fields, like what we went and saw in Amsterdam. And then I think she found actually like a place, I think it's somewhere in Michigan, that has a town that's resembled after like the Netherlands up there. So there's a lot of the country we want to see. So when we head out full time, it's not going to be us just going campground to campground, showing you the campground, showing us cooking and having a little bonfire. No, I mean, we're going to go to the campground just as a means to base the RV. Plug it in, charge it, empty the tanks, have a quiet place to work, and then move on to the next location. Like I said, we have the flexibility and option because to stay in a parking lot or, you know, a rest area. So, I mean, it'll get expensive. We had to pay to park every day, but it's also expensive to operate this thing every day. I think I mentioned before, you know, 8 to 9 miles a gallon, depending on terrain. This thing gets expensive to start traveling long distances. So game plan is to kind of just short hops, work our way kind of up north in the summertime, and as it starts getting cold, before the snow hits, work our way kind of back down through the south, maybe east to west, you know, zigzag around. Bring you interesting stuff. So that is our game plan for full-time travel in the RV, and that's why we had the RV. because it's convenient. It's more convenient than getting a hotel. It's cheaper than, or I don't know, maybe I'm not sure how the cost will work out, but picture if you had to book a hotel constantly, day in, day out, day in, day out, constantly going to, you'd become like a premium super platinum member. But there's a certain luxury to just driving and being, oh, I'm tired, I'm gonna pull over, or like we get hungry, our kitchen's right here, right here. There's the fridge, there's the microwave, there's the oven. We stop at any time and eat. Also, we have the dog too, so that's another thing. With the dog, we really can't do hotels. So the RV just be our home. We're going to travel all across the country. You know, we're going to have our clothes and everything that we need, hopefully, to go out. So we're rolling into it. Now, what we're looking at is my wife can do her job on the road. She can do this mobilely, working at different locations under contracts of about, I think she said she can get as short as 6 weeks apiece. So what she's looking at is we're kind of hoping maybe in the beginning of 2022, she's going to start doing a mobile job, and then maybe we'll start bouncing from place to place, 6-week intervals. But 6 weeks would be good. It'll give us time to like really check out a lot of stuff in the area and give you some good insight. And we'll do that until we are ready to sever that and head out full time. Because right now, you know, we just have car payments. You know, she bought her Buick a few years ago. I bought the Cruze after that accident with the deer. I wasn't expecting that car payment. I have a car payment on my Camaro and the Chevy SS, and we really need those car payments to be done and out of the way. So it might mean selling some of the cars to try to knock this out earlier. I probably just need to trim the fleet down anyhow. That's a whole nother topic and something I'm battling with. So that's why we haven't left full-time yet. I wasn't actually planning on being retired as of yet. The accident I had with the deer, somebody hit a deer, left a dead in the road. I didn't see it, you know. Somebody with those really cool, nice, bright blue headlights was coming at me. And I turned my head kind of away just so I wasn't totally blinded. And by the time I saw the deer, I tried to go around it. I clipped it. There's a video out there. I think it's like HHR Saved My Life if you want to see it. But I ended up sliding down a ditch. I hit a culvert, went airborne. And my back that was already damaged in the Army really got messed up. So I ended up getting medically retired from my job because I just couldn't do it anymore. I had a manual labor kind of job. I had to like bend over, pick stuff up, heavy stuff, move stuff around, and I just couldn't do it anymore, and I was getting in trouble. So one thing led to another, and we decided to part ways on a medical retirement. Well, kind of shook hands. I said, okay, let's just part ways amicably. But yeah, so I wasn't planning on being retired yet, but we are retired. We bought the RV. We want to head out full time. It's just a matter as to when. But I wanted to put out there kind of like, because, you know, the beginning of the year, I lost this channel. We got it back. I rebranded it as Travel. And I just want to let everybody know what our game plans are. Because some people might be under the impression that we're going to go out full time and we're just going to go to all these little campsites and show you stuff. And yeah, I'll share some of the campsite, but the meat and potatoes, the base of what we're going to do is cool stuff and events. Like I said, go into my travel playlist and check out some of the places we've been, like the Keys and Netherlands and Russia. You know, check out like our fall color camping. You know, we stopped in Chattanooga for a little bit, took in some of that. Kind of give you an idea of what I have planned for our videos. Also in October, we're going someplace out west. It's going to be just like a travel video. It's going to be, although we're flying, just pretend that I have the RV there, and that's the kind of stuff. I know it's a little bit off, but yeah. And so yeah, so that's about it. I just want to kind of touch base with everybody and let you know the direction the channel is going to go in, kind of like when we hope to do this and what the game plans are. Because like I said, right now with the RV, the only thing anybody sees is us kind of just going to the campground, talking about the RV, talking about camping, showing you my wife's great cooking. And then that's it. We never really venture out. Although in Alabama, the very first time we went camping, or even in Kentucky, we did do some hiking and some stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. But we didn't delve into any and go into town or check out stuff. So like I said, there's just so much cool stuff that the country has to offer that we're gonna find and check out. So if you know anything cool in the country, if you know, hey, there's like a cavern that you can go walk in and check out, or there's a building you can go up in, there's a great view from the top, there's a train that you can ride, I don't care, you know, whatever it is, if there's a great car museum, if there's beautiful sights and sounds that you've been interested in, you've never seen it, or you have been there, comment down below. I'm keeping a list of cool stuff across the country that I want to see, and we will bring that content to you if we like it and it's just feasible for us to do it. So like I said, like the St. Louis Arch is something I want to go check out. It's mechanical. I'd love to bring my wife to New York, have her see Statue of Liberty. Her being a first-generation immigrant herself coming in here, let her see like how other immigrants came here through Ellis Island. I'd love to take her up to the top of the Empire State Building and show her New York. So between that and then going to Yellowstone, so you know, it's a lot of in-betweens. Car museums, flowers, a little bit of everything. Hopefully a lot of coffee, a lot of driving, and a lot of good times. And I hope you will subscribe and join us for these adventures here in the U.S. with the RV, through Canada too. We plan on taking this RV through Canada. There's a lot of beautiful country, and I got some great subscribers up there as well. And we want to hop a plane and take in at least 50 countries. We're aiming for 50. It's kind of the goal when we start heading out that way. So I hope you'll join us for the adventures. Thank you for listening to me ramble. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.